welcome to Trafficking Insights, where I give you the truth and the reality of anti trafficking efforts by a nonprofit. I was going to try to do this with a avatar version of myself because it'll be a lot of mistakes. I'm usually behind the scenes, what is called a gray man, which I will speak probably in future episodes. What exactly is a gray man? Since I've been doing undercover operations for a little over a decade. So I'm not really used to speaking to the camera. I am an introvert, but I do feel that it's time to let the people know how really an NGO or a nonprofit or non-government organization really works or supposed to work in anti-trafficking efforts to demystify a lot of what you might be reading or hearing or people telling you about their nonprofits. So this will be a series of discussions, not only in that matter, but the realities of human trafficking. So that being said, one of the question I get asked a lot is how do you find the strength to go on the cover and face this horrific crime? So I go by the four pillars, which is courage, conviction, commitment, and capacity. I will go into what each of these means to me, and we'll start with courage. Courage is very important if you want to do anti-trafficking or going into see, go into the field, boots on the ground. Okay, you'll hear me probably saying a lot, boots on the ground, front line in the field, because there's a difference of being sitting on the desk and actually seeing the victims in their eyes, or seeing evil, the traffickers in their eye and laughing with them because you're undercover, shaking their hands when you really want to do something else. So courage, it's much needed. Now, let me get this clear off the bat. Courage doesn't mean you lack fear. Okay. Courage is acting despite of fear. I never said that I'm not scared to do this type of work or have fear. You always will have that in the back of your mind. But the courage to do so, due to the other three pillars, is what pushes me and others like me to do this. Again, courage is like you would feel an overwhelming sense of like, man, I really, got myself into this time. I mean, I've been in places where they literally lock doors behind you and you don't have the key or don't know how to go out. You know, I've been to places that are in war with guerrillas, or armed conflict, like in Cucuta, Colombia. I've had uh, drug cartels, kingpins, put a hit on me for hiding or shielding the two victims that escaped from his club, and no one, including law enforcement, wanted to do or touch those girls. So, you know, I did what I had to do, and I'll tell you how I got out of that probably in a future episode. Um, or, you know, So courage, like I said, it's not that you don't have a little bit of fear or a big fear. It's just doing it despite of, like, a fireman. I'm pretty sure they don't, when there's a fire and they need to go rescue, it's not that they lack fear, like of getting burnt or never coming out, but their courage, to their commitment and their conviction, okay, and their capacity to go and rescue those victims from the fire is the same courage that you will need to do this type of work. Conviction, on the other hand, is the second pillar, and it's a little bit deeper than courage. Conviction is the inner belief, that unshakable sense of purpose, right, that drives you to step into difficult and dangerous and often painful spaces or situations. Okay. um, for many people, including myself, it's my faith. Uh, God is the one that sent me to Latin America to do this type of work. Um, back way back when I first met my wife. My wife is the first victim that turned survivor that I rescued without knowing that this is what I'm supposed to do. And I've been married to her for about 16 years and have two beautiful children with her. So my faith is what drives me to do this, because this is what the commandment that God has given me. I did not know this is what I was supposed to do. I did not plan this while I was living in New York. In fact, it was the furthest thing from my mind. Um, I grew up in a domestic violence household, and my father used to beat my mom and me and my other brothers. Um, Bloody, I seen him broke my mom's nose, her finger, the stab. He threw me through a table. He punched me in my heart, and I started bleeding from my nose. So this I didn't want to be a Spanish person. I'm Puerto Rican by origin, my blood. But being young and watching television and seeing sitcoms like Saved by the Bell or Growing Pains and stuff like that, even Family Matters, whatever, and seeing how families used to, according to the sitcoms, these white family members used to come and sit down and talk about their problems over dinner, had allowance and their own room and everything. And I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want. So I didn't want to be Latin, period. I didn't want to be Spanish. Didn't want any food, any nothing. And my name is Fernando, so I'm stuck with that. But I even tinted my hair blonde to try to look like Zach Morris. But I say this because I didn't want anything to do with Latin people, period. And this is where God brought me to Latin countries, Ecuador, Colombia, Dominican Republic, and to do this. And I learned the Spanish here in the Dominican Republic, in the streets, hearing people. I didn't know Spanish before 2009. So, but of course, when you grow older, you know that every race has their own issues and stigmatism. And I love, being Latin and love being American. But I just, wanted to let you know the story, because I always say the why is important of why you're doing this. And my conviction is the strongest part of the four pillars. For me to do this, I want to rescue, um, or help rescue, because the physical part, you'll in another episode, I will tell you between rescue and intervention. But I would like to get these victims off the streets, off the traffickers' hands, and be there that I couldn't be there for my mom when I was younger, and be there like I am for my wife, that it took years and years to heal her mentally, and it's still certain things there. So I know firsthand what these survivors or victims go through. So my conviction is the strongest part of this four pillars. The third pillar is commitment, and commitment is not it's not easy. It's your why, but it's also your how, and it is would drain you mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. If you're not committed to this, you would not continue. I had people, including board members, tell me shut ATV down. I had days that I will explain in future episodes of burnout, stress over certain operations, and but you have to be committed. You have to go back to your why you're doing this. You have to remind yourself sometimes on a daily basis. It's not easy, and sometimes I don't know who my audience is or who or whatever, but sometimes I tend to forget to plug myself back in, because like your cell phone, if you keep using it, and you don't plug it in, it's gonna die. It's gonna die, or it needs to charge, and I need to get charged to God and take some time and just get into His Word, listen to Him, speak to Him, and get charged again. And this busyness of trying to save lives or rescues and doing the day-to-day operations for different countries, um, you tend, or let me speak me, I tend to forget about that part. So the commitment can be a double-edged sword, but it's needed. You need that commitment of your why you're doing it, because if you're not gonna last long doing this type of work. I had people, oh, I like what you do. I want to do it. You know, they want a sense of purpose, right? Oh, I want, but if they don't have a why, they're not gonna stay there. They go to the next crisis. It happened to a lot of my so-called personnels, and that I want to help, but then there was a crisis in Ukraine. Everybody focuses on Ukraine. Then Afghanistan. Oh, it was reversed. Sorry, but anyways, Afghanistan. Then people forget about Ukraine. Think about Afghanistan. Then Haiti, crisis in Haiti. Forget about Afghanistan. Think about Haiti. But the Ukraine and Afghanistan crisis is still going on. The Haiti crisis is still going on, but now everybody's talking about Israel and Gaza. So this changed the shift, the mind. And if you don't have the why to want to help, whatever those causes are, they're all important causes. But if you don't have a why or a personal connection to it, you're not going to stick to it. You're just going to be like a wavering sea going place to place to place to place. And at the end of the day, you're not helping anyone. So commitment is very key to for me to keep doing this, because I have my why and I know how. So that's why I keep doing what I'm doing. Now, capacity is the fourth and final pillar that I use to help me do this type of work. And capacity is a bit different from the other pillars, because this is not like a feeling or an emotion. It's if you're capable. You can have the heart to do this, you can have the brain to do this, but are you capable to do this? It's not everybody has all four pillars to do this. Um, some people might have the capability, special forces personnel. I know a bunch of special forces personnel that are doing this, and some of them are doing with me. But if they don't have the heart or the why, then they just want to do it to kick doors down, or because they miss action, or they think they're gonna grab a trafficker like as a terrorist or something, and they're just doing it for that, for the adrenaline rush. It's not gonna last long, and I'm not looking for that. I don't care if it was the person who shot Osama bin Laden. Don't come knocking on my door to work, or volunteer for ATB if that's what you're thinking about. You know, the capacity is very important, because, like I said, you get caught in the middle of this, you need to know how to get yourself out, not only physically but mentally. I am a hand-to-hand combat instructor. I instruct various special forces units in different parts, different countries. Probably speak about that later on. And I grew up in the streets, literally in the streets. Part of the testimony that I'm talking about, the domestic violence household. I left my house at the age of 13, and I started sleeping in the streets. So I was homeless at the age of 13, and eventually ended up in a cemetery and sleeping in the cemetery, which was a very peaceful place to sleep, because no one was there at night and no one was messing with you. At that time, it was very violent. With homeless people burning them and doing a bunch of stuff. So I grew up in the streets, literally, and I grew up in ghettos and stuff like that. And I've been in dangerous places. So I have the capacity to do this. I also worked in intelligence for a very long time, and I'll probably speak about that also, or you can check it out on my LinkedIn or my website. So I know the intelligence, I know how to work on the cover. I've been doing it for 10 years here and a couple of years in the US. So I have the capacity. So you need the capacity also to do this, not only the heart, not only the faith, but the know-how as well. So that's the four pillars that use to fight human trafficking the best way that I can, with the grace of God. And like I said, this is actually my first YouTube channel video, and I probably get better as I go on. But I just wanted you to see the real me, hear the real me, because like I said, I had everything prepared. I spent weeks on avatars, AI avatars, and voiceovers of myself, to get this perfect, but I think I owe you guys to see the real Fernando. Um, just a regular Joe Schmo fighting trafficking, and so can you. So thank you for your time watching and hearing me. And like I said, we'll have plenty of good content coming up of the realities of human trafficking, the realities of human trafficking investigations. I will show you step by step how the investigations are by an NGO, a nonprofit. And so you won't get duped by other nonprofits saying they're doing this, they're doing that. You questioning them. And through these videos, you'll be able to question them because I will tell you exactly how it goes or what is done.